We had it this week on Tuesday. Next week is TBA. Please subscribe or considering subscribing. Considering subscribing. Subscribe, you get priority to play and extra bonuses like subscriber streams and other good stuff. We will create some new ideas as we move into our third week of subscriptions. You have a secret handshake. He was asking how to become a mod here. Well, we don't need that many mods. I kind of play it by ear. We're working with like 1 or 2 at the moment, and it hasn't been too much of a disaster. We have had disaster. We had one mod who was a disaster. He started like insulting the players in the stream. That was good. He's gone now. Alright, so let's get started. Brundle Phil, what's up, man? Okay, no, you guys, did you just get like the notification that you, or you just like are here at 4 o'clock? Because I'm just curious, you know, what makes you guys, I mean, you know I'm going to do the stream at 4 o'clock, but are you getting a notification, like an email notification from Twitch? I just wanted to know. Okay, yep. Alright, I've got challenges from Nefedov and Rybka. Soltiga was there earlier. He gave his spot to Nefedov. Monkey pushing wood. I'm going to play this first game with Nefedov, then we'll hit some subscribers. Because Nefedov really wanted to get a game, and Soltiga was here, and he gave him his spot. And then we'll go with the subscribers when they start challenging me. Soltiga's back, but I'm going to take Rybka first before Soltiga, because he gave his spot away. Alright, so Nefedov and Nefedov, I don't even recall. I played the weird Nimzovich defense against you in the simul, I believe. We'll go with the other night. Brundle Phil said you got a notification on a Twitch app when the stream starts. Okay, so you got Twitch open basically. But if you don't have Twitch open, I mean, you know, I'm just wondering how you would know my stream started. Just out of curiosity. Little Pingwing. Tell me how my voice sounds, guys. It was Friday. What am I saying? Friday. It was like, what, Wednesday? Must have been Wednesday when one of my students, I had a lesson after my stream on Wednesday. And one of my students was like, hey, are you under the weather or something? And I said, no. No, I just like did a lot of talking today, you know. But in fact, he would very sensitively like tip me off to the fact that I have a little cold. And it's weird because I almost never get sick in the summertime. But, you know, it happens. So let me know how I sound. Do I sound like I have a cold? Because I can't really tell, you know. Nothing a little salt water and, I don't know, hot weather can't cure. Here we go back to the Soltiga variation. Nefedov not only took Soltiga's spot, but he took his favorite position. I see this tactic of people throwing their pawns down the board. Yeah, Christopher Reeves, if I remember correctly, you don't move any pawns. I mean, this is like a classical center, you know, it's a very principled way of playing chess. There's more than one way of playing the game. I mean, you have to be willing to accept that there's more than one way to skin a cat, I guess. Christopher Reeve, aka Rybka, plays a very how to say, I mean, classical in a sense of, you know, not moving a lot of pawns in the opening type of game. No spoilers. I'm planning to stop the stream. Soltiga Gambit starts with D6. Yeah. Okay. So the sacrifice of the year. E6, D6. By the way, this variation I'm playing, the Aximov, it's not really considered to be the best. It's considered, this is very risky, this taking and playing C5. I do it because I like it and it's fun. But I think I should probably play like G6 or Bishop F5. Or I think, you know, pawn takes pawn followed by Bishop F5 is another line. There are lots of good lines, you know, it's just that I like to play this because it's fun. More than anything else. I don't think this is black's best. But it is just a lot of fun while tactical positions arise. Even if white knows the best moves. There was a game in the US Championship I played like 15 years ago, Lapshin against Shabalov, where they follow the main line, and I think Shabalov ended up winning an endgame with black. So here we are. Maybe Neferov knows a theory. Why aren't we developing? We are. White has this powerful center, and that compensates for a little bit of slowness in development. That pawn center, you know, is it overextended or is it strong? You know, that's the thing that makes chess difficult. Clash Kids here. So we've got a bunch of subscribers. You guys will be pushed to the front of the class. Okano. I think Okano is the only one challenging me at the moment amongst the subscribers. Yuri Z is challenging me. He's a new player, but he's challenged me to 10-0. Yuri, I see you there, like in the list after Okano. If you watch the stream and you can hear me, you need to challenge me with increments. So something like 7-5 or 8+3 instead of 10-0. I'm going to decline your challenge, but you're welcome to challenge again, and you would keep that place in line. Guys, keep an eye out for random rated challenges. Uh-oh, it's the delayed Soltigo attack with d6. The main line here is bishop takes c4. Just check it out. That's the main move. Now d6 in this position, this is a little bit mind-boggling. Much like our last game against Soltigo. Okay, so I really feel I have a need to castle. But there's also this strong desire to play like an aggressive move. Bishop g4 for some reason. Bishop g4, bishop takes c4. Yeah, that's actually pretty good for me. Bishop g4 looks pretty good here. Got the pins going on. I think there's probably more than one move, but these pawns become inflexible in this way. You know, the pawns when they're adjacent to one another, when they're parallel parking. I mean, that's kind of the optimal placement for hanging pawns. This is a very extended variation of hanging pawns. Little pingwing. You're just looking if there are any rated ones, but the first 5 are clear. Yeah. No, it's usually the guys at the end of the stream when I get tired that sneak in the rated games, when everybody's kind of like just waiting for the stream to end. It's always that last one that gets me. Plus the regulars, they know the deal here. But Yuri Z re-challenge. Good job, Yuri. That was probably the fastest, most competent re-challenge I've ever seen. Yuri is definitely on the ball. Nice job, man. Not often people are like snap, like they just re-challenge to what you ask, and wow, dude. That was like in less than 45 seconds he did that. That's impressive. Okay, so Benny, anyway, I got a little cold going on, but it's nothing serious. I might sound a little hoarse. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, queen h4 check. Check for the sake of checking, right? Not a good idea. Now a nice balanced development looks like it could be useful. I'm a little worried about this move, bishop g5, which becomes possible. Then again, that's probably not all that dangerous either. I can't afford to move the same piece twice. I figure knight c6, castles, castles, and then we just play from there. I feel this pawn is overextended, but maybe he has some sort of tricks. I'm going to try to castle kingside and then just pick this off, but the problem is bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes e5, bishop takes b7. Could cost, you know, a little bit of something out of our positional piggy bank. giving that pawn up. Lots of subscribers. Good to see you guys. Clash Kid, Little Pingwing, Brundle Philly. It's always the 1700 and below that plays like God. Chess is a strange game where rating means a lot less than we think it does. At least online, that's the case. Not so much over the board. Alright, there's a lot of arrows on the board. Guys, I have a stream on Sunday. I'm doing a simul every Sunday for the rest of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. 3 more weeks of that, I guess. Actually 4, if you count this Sunday. And then 3 more weeks. We got 4 more Sundays. Queen d7 here. You know, it would be nice to play f6, but I can't really afford to let my pawn structure get bashed to smithereens. Because I do intend on castling over here. So, for the first time, it looks like we might be threatening to pick off a pawn here. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes e5 type of stuff. And this pawn on e5 is just kind of overextended. Proverbial question. Bishop takes c3, b takes c3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes e5. Then he like pins me, which is very uncomfortable. So, okay, this is kind of awkward now. If I don't take his knight, it's potentially going to come like to the center, maybe in some nasty fashion. So I'm thinking about that. Looks like I can't win the pawn straight away. Although if I do like castle and he moves his... I mean, what bothers me in this position would be if the knight were to get to e4, and I were to castle and he would play knight e4, my bishop on b4 would almost be trapped. It would like be attacked by a3, have to go to a5, which is pretty awkward. So I'm not sure I want to let that knight really hang around much longer. I'm taking this guy unprovoked. There were probably other moves. I'm sorry to see my dark squared bishop go. You know, obviously some people will be tempted to play like bishop check, but you know, I think at the end of the day, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. You know, his king is going to go there, and I don't know. You know, what do I really have for it? So here we are. Mr. E-Pawn is possibly going to fall, but then again, white should have some pretty good compensation, I would say. Bishop coming in here makes me a little nervous in some positions. 2 bishops. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes e5, bishop e7. I'd rather not face the 2 bishops. I'd rather get rid of one of them, to be honest. Thank you, Mubat. Blue Crow was supposed to be here, but actually he wanted to meet me early, our moderator, our primary moderator at the moment, but he's not here. Yuri Z said, it's nice to meet you. It's a pleasure and honor to get the chance to play. Thanks, Yuri Z, for listening and joining the stream and paying attention when I asked you to re-challenge me. I think you know, your reading comprehension is much higher than the average person here. Usually takes people a while to figure out what I'm saying. Anyway, like, we're first taking our subscribers here on Twitch. This game against Nefedov, he was challenging like basically before the subscribers even started to challenge, but we're gonna go with some subscribers, Okano, and we'll see who else, and then start taking the other challengers. Hopefully you'll get to play today, Yuri. There's still a couple people ahead of you. Bishop takes f3. This is a cool way of protecting this pawn on e5 by Nefedov. This definitely didn't hit the radar. That's an excellent move by Nefedov. I mean, he's just like defending e5 indirectly, giving his queen this great diagonal, even protecting this pawn here. This an amazing move. So looks like we're going rook e8. Which rook? I like this rook kind of protecting. Then again, I could lose the exchange with that one. Oh, this rook on a8 looks like it's kind of the question. Should it go? Should I have gone with the other rook? I was a little bit concerned about f7 being, you know, a target. So now, intuitively, man, he's got some attacking chances now. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes e5. What other option do I have here? I really don't think there's anything else. I mean, I've got to get rid of these monster Alekhines defense pawns. Look how hard it was for me to actually undermine his center. It was incredibly difficult. And I'm not sure he's not still standing pretty well here. Mobilized his pieces. The space that he took with those pawns gave him time to mobilize his pieces. Now he finds this really bizarre intermezzo, but does it work? Because I have queen g4 here. Why don't I have queen g4 here? Try to get fancy. Guys, the Sinkfield tournament is taking place in wonderful St. Louis, Missouri. It looks like an elite tournament, but Spidler and Nepomniachtchi are so far trailing the big names, which is not to be I don't know. It was just to be expected, I guess. To be expected. Spidler's pretty solid. Nepomniachtchi doesn't have that much experience in like these top round robin tournaments, so he's probably going to be it's going to be taking him a while to get the hang of it. Pretty wild player. I actually like him a lot, but he's probably going to have to settle in. Aronian lost to Caruana yesterday, or whenever the second round was, in a really nasty grind where he finally reached like rook against rook and bishop, but it was a forced mate when he took the last pawn off. He was in a mating net with rook against rook and bishop. There was nothing he could do. So Caruana ground him for like 80 moves in a better endgame and took Aronian out. Alright guys, let's go with some subscribers. What do you got? Okano is the only subscriber challenging me at the moment. If you subscribe for a mere $4.99 every month, you get to be a cool person and a respected member of our community here. Monkey pushing wood, you're just watching the stream now. Yuri said, I didn't mean to do that. I'm okay, you give the spot back if I could do that. What are you guys talking about? Yuri, no, Yuri, you're good, man. Just hang out and wait, and you hopefully get a chance to play. Just hang out, and you're the fourth of the non-subscribers. I should really take Rybka before Soltigo, because Soltigo sold his spot. Alright, the modern defense. This is Pirt's classical variation, or modern defense. Pirt's, if he plays knight f6. Pretty modest setup for white. We have the ideal pawn center, but it's not all that dangerous, actually. I recall one game against Rybka, and he drew a slightly inferior position. That was the only game we played. Alright, so Okano plays a kind of half hippopotamus here. This is definitely not really a standard sort of thing for black to do, but I guess there's nothing terrible about it. I mean, he'll put the knight on e7 and maybe try to play like b6, bishop b7. I can't recommend a way to like blow this kind of thing away. There really isn't any easy recipe for white to get like a clear advantage. These positions kind of frustrate me, and I have played hippo type of stuff with black. Draws are strong in my opinion. I have a lot of draws lately in my tournament games, a bit too many. Now, Okano allowed a5, which is very unusual. And a6, so he's getting pushed around and allowing me to play like a6 probably. He's a little bit overheated with the heat wave in Central and Eastern and just Europe in general. South Central Europe. Okay, now what did you say the temperature was in Cyprus? I mean, I saw today like there was record heat all over the place in Italy, Romania, even like the hottest it was all year in like Czech Republic. I'm so glad I'm not in Hungary right now. It's probably very hot there. Bishop c8. So this disrupts him, this a6 pawn, pretty much, I would say. But the follow-up is not that obvious, actually, what I should do here. So stay indoors. Okay, no. He said it was like 40 something centigrade in Cyprus. That was like last week or whenever we last talked. I don't know where to put my pieces here. Bishop placement, you know, I always talk to my students about, you know, not just developing pieces for the sake of developing them. It's very important to do that, you know, to think like, I'm not going to just develop this piece for the sake of it. Just bishop e2, castles, and rook e1. I like this. We'll probably tuck this piece back on f1. The pawn on a6, kind of a long-term advantage. Nothing I can really do with that right away. This bishop needs to stay on the diagonal to keep it protected. This is how I normally play the classical Pirts anyway. Now he played f5, which is... this is really taking your life in your hands. Dutch type of move, but black's position is obviously pretty compromised because of this a6 taking his bishop off the long diagonal. On the other hand, his bishop's on c8 protecting e6, so that's not so bad, is it? So we have lots of tempting possibilities. Pushing, taking on f5. You know, the thing about taking on f5 is that it like brings his knight to f5, which feels like that's something that actually benefits black. So we're going to play quietly here. I also want to play something stupid like bishop c4, pawn takes pawn, and, you know, get a pawn fork with d5. It's the insight to how you think. I try not to like improve the scope of my opponent's pieces. If I play pawn takes f5, bringing his knight to a good square. Why not e5? Nefedov, e5. If you like closed structures, I don't have a problem with e5. I think that e5 is a positive move. It's a playable move, and white probably has an advantage there. But I feel that we have more possibilities by keeping the tension. We're not committing. We might have e5. We might have other good stuff. Rook takes or knight takes or other possibilities. Probably not. Rook takes is tempting. We're going to see Mr. Knight coming to f5 anyway. Yeah, rook takes is awkward. I guess we'll go with the knight capture here. Standard stuff. It's a good hippo for us. The rear of his hippo, or the left flank of the hippo, has been like disabled. Torpedo tube number 1 is full of water, so he's only got torpedo tube over here, and that one is functioning, the other one is broken. But anyway, the initial position is not too weak. He hasn't really got that many targets. e6 is weak. We're gonna try to hit that square, but he probably knows about that, so it's not gonna be that easy to put him away. h4, h5. Maybe this sort of positional g3. G3, bishop G2, kind of H4, H5, King's Indian attack. That's something I do often with this bishop coming back to F1. Bishop F1, kind of a Botvinnik move. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could look at like Smyslov playing the French with white. Instead of going bishop E2, he would remove his winnower bishop back to F1 and sometimes out here on H3. Smyslov. Okay, now I really thought he was going to have to play H6 there to stop me from going knight to G5. How and why does he not have to do that? Well, knight G5, the direct approach. Unfortunately, he seems to have quite a few resources. I mean, I guess I'm just not really, you know, he's got rook F6, rook E8, even maybe like, not so many moves actually. Rook F6 or rook E8, that looks like about it actually. How do I continue though? Bishop C4 doesn't really work because he just plays D5. Maybe I could induce him to play D5. I don't know. I'm just going to play a solid move that sort of secures my center. But time is a little bit of an issue here. This also gives me queen b3. I thought this might be a nice benefit. Having this pawn protected, you know, in the event of like an exchange sacrifice on f3, like his rook magically jumps over his knight, I'd have to be careful. That's called fear of ghosts, guys. But in any case, I mean, c3 is a very safe, non-committal kind of move. Does bishop g5 mess with his queen? Actually, I didn't look at bishop g5, and I probably should have. It definitely messes with his queen, but I'm not sure it does much anything else. So he could choose between queen d7 or queen e8 in that event and probably be okay. He might be able to make a transfer like queen e8, queen f7 if my bishop's on g5. That might actually help him a little bit. He really should play h6. I mean, you know, how is he going to do without that move? And I don't think it's all that bad. He's afraid it's like weakening. I mean, there could be some problems with the knight not being able to go to h4. Bishop g5, g4 type of ideas. Bishop g5, g4, queen d2, but I need more preparation. We're better here, obviously. Bishop g2 looks good in this position. Yeah, I mean, this is the idea, but I've got to keep this pawn nailed down on a6, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's just hard for black to free themselves, and maybe some weird move like c5 could actually be played. In the event of c5, what would I do? Like d5 would be one interesting option. There's a lot of possibilities for white, but none of them look that convincing. You know, I've got g4, bishop g5, knight g5. Bishop d7 taking the pressure off of a6 a bit. Now if I just keep piling on to e6, he could just keep protecting it, I guess. Alright, let's try this probe move. I'd love to do like a piece sacrifice on f7, I mean h7. You also have d5 in some positions. Alright, I think he just either bamboozled me or... No, I mean, this is just clearly a hanging pawn. I was even looking at rook takes, but that's a bit too fancy. Okano's time management needs some work. He played very quickly in the opening, got a bad position, and started taking his time. take your time, you know, before you have a bad position, and don't get a bad position. That would be the more optimal way of conducting things. But this is a common problem. Time management is not easy. He may not be used to increment. I don't know. A lot of people aren't really used to the increment. So queen b3 here. He's obviously hoping for something like bishop c4, d5, winning material. Knight g5, h6, winning material. I just hate just retreating flat out, but queen b3 also walks into d5. I think I'm just staring at this position really without without any great idea. We should just retreat. Maybe I'll just have to trade rooks. I don't mind trading rooks on e8 if it comes to that. We're just winning. We've got a extra pawn, a very secure position. And time is the only problem. What about the rook on e6? Get flagged with a good position is the most dignified. You know, if he takes the the rook, he lost his f-file pressure. Queen doesn't scare me too much here. Yeah, he's got some problems, I think, due to serious pin. A most unpleasant situation. We're obviously well guarded as far as the back rank goes. And finally the bishop. Oh, I can just win immediately. d5. You know, when you're an international master, like, sometimes you start missing the obvious. I just have that excuse. I'm not that... You can tell if you watch my stream a lot. I mean, I'm just not looking for, like, one-move tactics most often. Okay, we'll take it. We are up a piece. We still haven't moved our queen bishop. That's a typical piece that I see people, like, develop the piece for the sake of developing it. This is the guy that usually, or girl, if you're a female, I don't want to discriminate. This is the piece that gets out because people just develop it for the sake of developing it. In this game, this bishop never really had a clear... It never really had a clear point. I mean, it could have gone to g5 maybe at some point, but it was better off just waiting. You know, obviously my rook is mobilized from its original square, so my bishop's not blocking that rook. And if that's the case, then we never really needed to move that bishop. It's waiting for its moment. Jesus is not with us today. You have an extreme stomach ache. Never will go to a Chinese restaurant again. Yes. Alright, now I'm talking a lot lately about trading down when up material. Something a lot of my students fail to do. And then there's mate on the back rank. Failing to trade pieces when you're up a piece or several pawns just to play for mate or to be fancy is a very good way to, like, lose winning positions. Anyway, right, let's say his queen were to go somewhere, we're gonna get really vicious checkmates going on. This pawn is sort of difficult to defend. Queen a4, queen takes b2, queen c4 check. Yeah, he's just running around, and I'm gonna get back rank mated all the time. Help yourself, sir. I would say self-service. What happened to self-service? There was a... He was one of the accounts we had played a couple games with. GBRL, can we play 10-0? No, we do increment. So if you like 10-0, this is like exactly, you know, kind of on the same level. 7-5, 8-3, something like that. I would prefer. Gives me time to kind of describe the game, talk about the game. Oh no. Alright, let's go for mate. Do we have a mate? There's no direct mate. A lot of checks. We do have mate. Nice. Oh no. Oh no, I blundered. Blunder alert. Hung a rook. The rook hang. Now the game is getting interesting. I had a weird hallucination, ladies and gentlemen. We had a weird hallucination. But now we've got 3 connected passed pawns on the king side. His king isn't entirely safe. So let's just run. He's trying to trade queens, but this is probably a bad idea here. My pawns are really strong. G4. I think he had rook e2 there, possibly. We did just hang an entire rook. Not usually recommended. Fortunately, our 3 connected passed pawns are probably going to carry the day here. Man, this was not the way I planned it out. Looks like I should have a mate. Not the way I drew it up. But this will suffice. God, I was spaced. I just spaced. I thought like queen f7 was check. It's craziness. I guess I shouldn't give him anything. It was a long day this morning. I was out in the sun quite a bit, so we've got that excuse. If you were black, you'd resign. It's a who can blame him. He can go after my A pawn. Probably would be the best bet. Oh no. Well, at some point, whoa, we're going to lose on time. Yeah, that looks like that's it. That's all she wrote. Not a good way to drop a rook, but we managed to recover. Even at the worst part, I think it was probably like slightly better for black. I'm not sure I was entirely lost when I dropped the entire rook. Obviously, Okano can resign this. Just take this. And we were waiting for that for a long time. Okay, just out of curiosity, when I dropped this rook for fun, was I lost? Or did I have enough compensation? I'm curious now. I played the crazy queen f7 thinking it was a check. For some reason, yeah, I'm probably lost here. I meant to play bishop g5 check, I guess, in this position. And then for some reason expected king d7 and then queen f7 check. Or I know what it was. I expected him to go to d7 and he went to d8. And then I thought it was check. So thought it was a check. It wasn't a check. And I'm probably lost here. It's a little bit awkward because of this pawn on a6 setting up mating nets. But he's winning if he plays this. If he plays this perfectly. I have a pawn for... I don't even have a pawn for the exchange. So I'm just an exchange down. Yeah. Anyway, lucky escape for me. Alright, what do we got here for subscribers? Divliatavra Wildfire. I was jokingly calling him Firewater. We're going to play this subscriber. Welcome, Filewater. That's even more chessical. I could drop a whole rook and still win. He kind of panics, you know, there when he tried to trade queens. The worst thing he can do in that position is trade queens, because that endgame with those 3 connected pass pawns is, if he doesn't trade queens, you know, it's not so clear. I've got enough material, but my king, I mean, he can use the queen and rook against my king and maybe get some threats going. So we've got dragon. I'm afraid to play the main lines of the dragon. I freely admit it. You know, I don't know the theory well enough to play into, you know, mainline Yugoslav attack. So, being that I haven't studied that in 15 years, seriously, I'm gonna just cop out and play this line of one of the lines of the classical dragon that I find kind of annoying when I'm black. And now, I don't know. Well, we could play like rook e1. I mean, I think f4 is probably main line here. He's going to play b5. Then a3. Stop b4. King h1 is obviously a standard prophylactic move for white. The thing is, Divliatavra, you know, you can play b5 without a6 probably in a lot of variations. This move is a move you can sometimes play like in answer to f4, even if it's not protected, because you have these sick tactics like knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes b5, and or queen b6 check and queen takes b5, this kind of stuff. a6 is a little bit slow, but it's probably not a terrible move. Best, I think, theory is to develop the bishop. I've seen Sergei Kudrin sometimes play stuff like b6, bishop b7. Alternatively, you can always double fianchetto in the dragon, I guess. You can also play bishop e6, bishop d7. a6 is one of those kind of standard moves, but I think that black plays too many standard moves in these lines and he gets into deep trouble. I know that because I've done it in blitz. Now black is possibly losing a piece, but not. Or is he? He has the saving like e5, queen b6 check, intermezzo all the time. It's just doesn't do it for me. I've got to play this. But I don't really like this weakness. Big time weakness on d6. Okay. Again, e5 nearly works. But then there's no pin, so forget about that. We're going to forget about that idea for now. And move on to bigger and better things. Queen e1 I'd like to play, but then he goes like knight b4. Maybe not a problem. Maybe not a problem if he goes knight b4. What about rook d1? Developing the rest of my pieces. This is basically a blitz game, so don't want to waste too much time. Looks like we've got a strong attacking formation. f5 comes to mind. The Classico. We have strong attacking moves here. Rook d3. There is knight b4, rook h3. I don't care about this pawn, to be honest. The other rook lift, you know, I don't know, that could have been possible too. And instead of rook d3, I could have played other stuff, other good stuff. black playing pretty quickly here too. This looks like it's lost. Too many weaknesses. He can't protect. Can he? Please don't let there be any tricks. You know, the commercial, if you're an American. The cereal rabbit. Tricks rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Common saying. I don't believe you can survive this, sir. So it's mate. Mate, mate, mate. Check on H8, check on F7, and mate. H7. Okay, so he came apart. Always mate with the lowest form of material. That's like the classical 19th century era. The best I got, the only mate I've got is queen takes though. Yeah, if we look at the analysis board, opening wise, this variation, I wonder about A6, you know? It's the second most common move actually. The computer likes it. We can't blame his loss on A6. I played bishop E6. I mentioned B6. Apparently A5 is a move. Can't blame him losing the game on A6. So, you know, E6 was a weird move. I mean, you should pull the trigger, obviously, on the extended fianchetto here. I was going to play A3. Apparently bishop F3 is more mainline. Peter Svidler playing black. Okay, guys, we got another stream on Sunday coming up. It's a simul. Thank you for the subscribers. Let's see if we get a new subscriber today. Is anybody thinking about subscribing? World Losers here. Plucro's here. Oh, you got held up. Yeah, Plucro, I came early. I came early the one day that Plucro came late. It's okay, man. So let's go on. Yuri's a new player. I definitely want to give him a game. Solti goes after Ribka. Ribka's been waiting. We've got no other subscribers in the list. You guys gonna subscribe? Who's gonna subscribe today? Little Pingwing already subscribed. Your dinner was tough for your stomach. That's no excuse. I had a big meal before the stream, which I normally don't like to do. And I recommend if you guys play chess tournaments, do not eat like large meals before you go to play. I mean, if you're an older person like who's not a teenager, you probably know this through experience, but eating large meals will make you kind of like sleepy. My old friend Walter Brown, he would swear never to do that. Sometimes it's unavoidable, you know, like you're starving and you have to eat, but then try to eat a small meal. I had a large meal because I was starving, and now I had a coffee, but I'm normally not in like a food coma when I do the stream. I'm kind of having this food coma. I was talking about this in a middle game video series I'm making, yet to be released. The pawn majority in the center. It's a very important concept. Many different openings. Years ago, everyone would take with the e-pawn. This was the classical way to play the black side of the Trompowsky. Because classical style, like Mr. Reeves here, was to develop the pieces, Morphy style, you know, maximize the development of the pieces, whoosh. But in closed position, especially queen pawn games, I think that having a strong center and a strong central majority is actually favorable. I believe that the main line is probably d takes c4 here. But he took back. Okay. d takes c4 is still a main line. I guess black has a choice here between d takes c4 and knight to c6. Sorry, I muted the sound. It was around 40 today in Cyprus and all over like South Central Europe. Well, I think it hit even like 42 in Rome or parts of like Italy. I thought I saw somewhere it might have even hit 44. Is that possible? To be 44? Knight c6. Rybka. Rybka playing like Rybka. Move 11's here. What's up, man? Okay, sometimes my opponent eats crunchy foods during tournament games. I recommend very strongly, you know, you make your decision how to handle this based on your opponent's makeup, you know. If it's like a motorcycle gang member, probably the dirty look is not going to work, you know. There's really nothing you can do. If you have any way to intimidate your opponent into not doing it, you know, if they're like a little kid and maybe you can make like, you know, an angry parental face at them or something, that's probably a good way to try to solve the problem. We're just asking them politely, you know, please don't eat at the board. But unfortunately, like, I don't think it's in the FIDE rules of chess that you're not allowed to eat at the board. It's a question of etiquette, you know, and I think that eating like very small snacks at the board is probably like borderline, you know. But I mean, most grandmasters don't eat at the board, and when I eat something, I'll get up from the table and like walk away. But amateurs obviously don't know that, you know. I mean, I've sat down at club tournaments to watch my like 1800 opponent, you know, like engulfing some sort of like club sandwich or something, or like a 6-foot sub from Subway. It's horrible, and I mean, there's not a lot you can really do about it, and you just have to kind of make the best out of the situation. So anyway, all right, Mr. Pawn on d4. Mr. Pawn on d4 looks like he should bite the dust, but it's a question of how. Obviously, I could get into like desperate danger if I play like rook d8. Give me an extra move. Knight takes d4, and then like knight takes d4, queen takes d4, bishop d7, check, black resigns. We need to develop our pieces. First thing, Rybka found that move, a3. We have a queen check, but I think again that's kind of a little bit of a cheapo, and I'm not sure that's that good for me. Rook g8 is an interesting move to actually prevent him from moving his bishop. And if he were to go g3, we could play the check then. Or even the ultra-aggressive rook g4. But, you know, rook g8 is pretty committal. I won't be able to castle kingside. Rybka 6, how many games do you have, dude? 38 games. He played me with another account before. What is your rating? Like, do you have an over-the-board rating? Rybka 6? The worst for me is like twirling the pawns like in your line of vision. Okay, I don't mind like if they do it like at the side of the board, like off to the side, but under the table or whatever. But there occasionally I've seen even like strong players do this. Igor Kovalenko wasn't doing it against me, but he was doing it against another player in the same tournament where I lost to him. I think that's pretty bad, you know, twirling pawns in the line of vision while it's the opponent's move. Not only is it like kind of disrespectful, but it's actually like very physically distracting. It's almost like a gamesmanship kind of thing. I think some players might even do it purposely, you know, like a really kind of dishonest player might even do something like that to distract the opponent on purpose. So yeah, that's our list of pet peeves: kicking under the table, twirling pawns, eating Subway sandwiches. I mean, these are things that obviously shouldn't be done, but we can't really like police it very easily. Carlsen was fidgeting with pawns in the World Championship. Yeah, it's like, it's okay, I guess, if you're doing it in the peripheral like area, but like occasionally you'll get this guy who's just like right in front of your face, like in the middle of the board, like this, you know, like doing it like just right, almost like it's on purpose, where you're trying to like stare at the table and there's like this pawn on the 10th rank, you know, like a fidget spinner or something. Yeah, but the eating at the board, it's typical with little kids, especially who don't know any better, and lots of very ignorant adults. Okay, you know, eat a like cereal bar or something in a granola bar, I don't care, big deal, it'll last like 5 seconds and it's done. But to eat like a hoagie or some kind of like 6-inch sub for like, you know, 10 minutes, I mean, that is seriously distracting and just disgusting too in many cases. Rook c1, good developing move. So now we bring it, we're going to try to bring it, I guess, with rook g4, which we talked about earlier. What's wrong with rook g4? Does Mr. Reeves have some kind of trick? Or does it just not do anything? Should we bring more force? Queen e4 check. Actually, what's wrong with queen e4 check? Queen e4 check, queen e2. Maybe that's just simply good. He can't play bishop e2 anymore, because rook takes g2. So now I'll have to trade queens and like literally go into a bad ending. This looks, it's not exactly crushing, but see, has some kind of computer-like response. We've got to be careful, it's opposite-colored bishops. I mean, they're notoriously drawish, the opposite-colored bishops, obviously. But this pawn looks... it looks a little hard to hold on to be honest. I have rook g4, rook d8. The rook g4, though, feels better because it, like, doesn't... it almost doesn't use my other rook. If I capture, I'll end up like opening myself up to all this back rank threats and stuff. We're a little bit better here, but I mean, he's still ahead on time, and I don't think he's lost. Just got a slightly unpleasant position. He can draw some opposite color bishop positions, probably down material. I don't want to rush. Maybe rook d8, f5, bishop g7 kind of ideas to just surround this pawn on, surround the pawn on d4 gradually. d5. Whoa. So it's some kind of pawn sack to confuse the issue. No choice, really. I'd love to keep a perfect pawn structure, but we've got to take it. He decided to lose the pawn on his terms, I guess. But I think that in the end, his king is still probably more open than mine. I have an extra passed pawn. Black should have a clear advantage here. My pieces are even a little bit more active. He either has an over-the-board rating or not. I haven't got an over-the-board rating. That's what he said. What's the poker movie where the guy would what? Twist an Oreo. Yeah, Rounders. The heart, the height of the poker boom. Rook e4 check. John Malkovich. g3 is an awfully good move. Yeah, that kind of thing, you know, exactly what we're talking about. Can be very distracting. I mean, this is a pretty amazing concept. He's basically sacked a pawn to create like squares for his pieces, and I think this is just an excellent defense by white here. Preventing me, he's going to go bishop h3 or bishop g2 now. Not at all sure what I should do in this position. I can't castle my rook. She'll have to move at some point. I don't know what to do. I don't want to castle queenside. I'll probably hide my king on f8. Looks like white has compensation for his pawn deficit now. Fantastic pawn sacrifice d5. Judging the endgame. Very deep idea. I think that's an extremely strong. Rook d8 might have been better than rook g4. Yeah, the move order may have been flawed. I was wondering about that myself. I didn't really think, you know, a player who wasn't like really high rated would go with this kind of pawn sack, but you know, this sort of like long-term pawn sack, it's very deep. I guess he's putting his king on d3 here. Then again, it could go to d2. There's actually nothing that could hit it on d2. It's kind of fortunate. At least he can't like frontally attack my pawn. But yeah, you have a good point. Maybe that would have been better to play rook d8. Now he has all sorts of threats. A plethora, if you will. He's actually ahead of me on the clock all the time. And I've never beaten him now. He beat me the first time we played pretty badly, and the second game was a draw, where he defended really well. And no over-the-board rating, I see. Where did you say you're from again? Bishop f5, winning his pawn back. It's an excellent move. Almost want to like sack the exchange here. Bishop f4. He's from England. Bishop f4, bishop takes f4, g takes, rook takes. Actually, it's playable for me to do that. Kind of weird idea, huh? Takes, rook takes, bishop takes h7, rook takes f3. Alright, let's try this. It's fun. Probably doesn't work. Hard to believe you could be that strong and never have played in an over-the-board game. Almost impossible. So, to come up with this d5 pawn sacrifice, this kind of defense, I mean, it's master strength type of play, definitely. Now black's equal, probably. Maybe I'm better, I don't know. This h-pawn is kind of dangerous. I was trying to trap his bishop on h7, thinking about that, but I had to be careful, like last move. Tempting to play, it was tempting to play king g7 here, but I saw king e3 at the last minute and I was like, oh my god, I can't do that, that loses material. So $20 centigrade up here, said so Sideshow Bob. Wow, that sounds nice. Yeah, we're in the 30s. Not too bad where I'm at. Not too bad, but it is humid. Welcome everyone. Please subscribe to the Twitch channel. We've got a weekly subscriber stream, preferential treatment for subscribers. Sunday we have a simul, and last week we had a simul also on Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to take a couple of the games the subscribers played And holy cow, look at this move. He just came up with rook g1. Really nasty. Now I'm forced to play king e7 or knight e7, and knight e7 is obviously not happening. He's always ahead of me on the clock. I've never ever been ahead of the clock like for one move, which is interesting. Knight e5 looks dangerous. I probably will lose like material there. He's got no blitz games, no bullet games. But I mean, this guy is every bit 2100, possibly stronger, based on his other games against me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still up a pawn technically. Rook h1. Seems like that would help him. He could play f5 here. Then I'll end up losing material or something. I have no idea if this is a good move. It may just be a waste of time. Knight e5. But I have no time to think. Is he blundering, or is this some kind of trap? So he fell apart there at the end. I think he was fine, like just a couple moves ago. I mean, he just self-disintegrated. Self-destructed would be the call. I don't think that I'm winning at all. Like, the computer feels differently though. But I mean, rook g2, is that necessary? Wow. Let's start back here, okay, in this initial position. The engine really thinks I'm better here. It's weird. I thought he was fine. I guess I misevaluated this. The computer thinks he's clearly worse. That's strange. Usually, okay, I tend to be pessimistic, but I just really didn't think I was winning here. I thought his bishop is a better long-range piece, and he's only down a double pawn. The engine says it's like +2 for black. That is a weird position. I mean, I'm surprised by that. Anyway, thank you for the game. It was much harder than I thought. I was saying, oh, he's equal here, but apparently not. If anybody wants to subscribe today, a good time to do it. Soltigo, did we lose a challenger? No. Soltigo's next. Justice of Dictator. He needed more time to think. Well, I misevaluated. I mean, I thought you were okay. Just kind of on surface considerations. Your king in the endgame might be okay. I have just an extra double pawn. Bishop is a good long-range piece. Kind of a surprising evaluation there. Okay, Soltigo. This is one of our most common players in the stream. We have a couple people who played us 100 games. Mule Skinner, who's another subscriber. Constant Change. But Soltigo's up to around 50, so he's definitely one of our regulars. Let us check for rated games. Thank you, Little Pingwing. I hate when I lose the last game of the stream on a rated game to someone who's using a computer. It just kind of pisses me off and like leaves me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. But it looks like that is not the case here. Soltigo, they usually sneak in there, but they're not going to be able to sneak in now. I mean, there's no way that I'm going to get through all these challenges if a few more of you subscribers step up and play. Soltigo with the weird sort of accelerated check defense or something like that. This is not something you run into every day. I could just play knight c3 and see what he's going to do. We'll see what he's going to do. I mean, obviously you could play f4, but Christopher Reeve would be like, that's a lot of pawn moves. It's a matter of taste. Alright, knight c3, and now f4 feels to me like we're playing the Pribble. International Master, was it Martin Pribble, or he's the son? There's two Pribbles from Czech Republic. Anybody here from the Czech Republic? Soltigo played knight f6 now. He's like begging me to play e5. It actually looks like decent for white. It would prevent him from playing e5 and freeing his position. Huh. Alright, man. Very well, senor. I'm going to try this. This is not a typical position. But I've got a space advantage, and this will stop him from playing e5, which will free his position greatly. He played bishop g4. That looks like a mistake. Why, you might ask? I'm not sure, is the convincing answer. I can play bishop e2 and just get a big lead in development. I think e6 is going to hurt. Once in a while, Soltigo will just like get crushed in the opening really badly. And I think this could be one of those games. He kind of makes up stuff in the opening a little bit too much. And, okay, taking with a knight is worth considering here. But I also want to consider putting my knight on its best natural square. So I'm thinking about this e6 advance. Of course, the circumstances of its occurrence are the most important. e6. e6. e6 takes knight f3 with like a slow grab on e6. He'll play h6 and stop me. What's up, guys and girls? Keith Erdekel's from Hungary. Must be hot there. Are you guys all from the US? I only know Plucro is from France. Most of the players here, I don't think Little Pingwing is from the US. I think we've got Soltigo from the US. Clash Kid is from the Netherlands. No, Little Pingwing's from the Netherlands. Keith Erdekel. Okay, it is hot. Yeah, that's why I don't want to be in Hungary in the summer anymore. I've had enough. So if we go e6 and he takes and we take with the queen, what's really going on? That's the problem here. Take, queen d7, for example. Queen back, what do I do? Have I spent all my money in one place? Tough call. I'm going to go for this and think about options here. Think about my options. Think about all you got. Rudolf Spielmann would be happy. Who was it? Spielmann wrote the book. What was the book he wrote? Attack in Chess? Or hello, it's Magnuson Carl. Seriously, you're Carl Magnuson? Oh my God, Opal Guy is Carl Magnuson. He's calling himself Carl Magnuson Carl like he was Hungarian. Magnuson Carl, it is awesome, man. You're USCF master, who I played like 20 years ago. It's more than 20 years ago now, probably 25 years ago. I played Magnuson Carl. Holy shit, that's a long time. What's up, man? h6, knight h4. You know what? I didn't see that to the last moment. Knight h4. Is that just like lights out? I was looking for. I played this knight f3 move. But f5's awful, dude. I mean, you can't do that here. f5. Maybe he could if he didn't play h6. Actually, Magnuson Carl. It's funny because it reminds us of Magnus Carlsen. It's really weird. Carl Magnuson at me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so funny though. Like, is that insane? Like, I play Carl Magnuson, USCF master, in like 1992, and then 25 years later, the world championship is named. The world champion's name is Magnus Carlsen. That is so weird, man. I mean, it's like a small world, huh? I always like when I see or hear about players from the past, you know, that I didn't hear about for a long time. And so that's cool. Um, 25 years goes by really fast. It sounds like it's a joke, you know. That's why the name, I keep saying it. It's like some name somebody would make up to just make a joke about Magnus Carlsen's name, you know. But no, this is a real person. He was a good player. Is a good player. What happened to you, Carl Magnusson? Did you leave the Boston area? Knight takes f5. Just taking the pawn here. What was 25 years? Thank you for remembering me. What was your friend's name? That other guy who was like a master. Peter Howe, right? Weren't you friends with Peter Howe? He went on to become like a card counter or something. That's what I heard. This knight in f5 is the MIT card counting team. I'm about to lose on time to Soltigo. I'm talking to somebody I didn't talk to for 25 years. Isn't the internet awesome? In 25 years we'll all be dead. Well, that could be the case. But it depends a lot on the political situation, I guess. I mean, if an asteroid doesn't like crash into the planet, a nuclear war doesn't strike, I don't think that's necessarily true, dude. Zombie apocalypse could wipe us out, but I would actually be like optimistic that most of us will still be alive in 25 years. Thank you for being very negative, Brundle Philly. Oh, his name was Hikaru Temaraka. You remember my friend too. Okay, you were in Japan. But there was some connection with Japan? Okay. I forgot about that. For some reason I connected you with Peter Howe, though. I'm not sure if I'm wrong in thinking that. Did I play a blitz session with you and Peter Howe at the same place or something? I can't remember. Okay, Soltigo is just trying to flag me, basically. His position is just gross. Guys, we're just gonna try to concentrate on the game here. So that's awesome. We've got a player we haven't played in 25 years here. Uh-oh, Queen B6. Hard to protect that pawn on D4, isn't it? Man, he's just hanging in there with his 3 minutes. But I like our chances here, spatially. It sounds like a joke. It is kind of half joking, but I want to get my king to h1 first of all, and then play like b4, and we just own the whole board. Soltigo played way too fast. f5 was risky, and I thought if he hadn't played f5, if he simply takes on e6, that's the critical position. Like he takes on e6, I take with the queen. Here we just ignore him. The plan was to just ignore him, but I wonder. That doesn't matter. I can play d5 probably. I can't play d5. I didn't play king h1 yet. Whoa. Soltigo. Man, I am food coma. Totally in food coma. Had a big sandwich before the stream. Don't like to do that. Don't eat large meals. Quote unquote Walter Brown. Just lots of coffee, you know. In Brown's case, I'm not sure it was beneficial in the long run. Walter drank an awful lot of coffee. We lost him. Was it last year? Okay, now d5, or we just take this guy. Does this work, or am I like blundering here? I'm blundering. Blundering, and he's coming back into this game. totally coming back. I don't even know if I'm better anymore, dude. Soltigo, a very creative player. I probably missed something, but with 15 seconds I couldn't find it. I've actually been playing this game like it was an 8-3 game, and I wondered why I was in such bad time pressure. But now I realize that I was treating it like an 8-minute game, and only now do I realize the time control was 5 + 5. So that's why I was in this vicious time pressure. I don't know where my time went. I just blundered. Hold on a second. Hold the phone here. By all rights, white should still be better, I guess. If we don't like mate ourselves. It's getting a little scary though. His pieces are all starting to coordinate. Oh no, it doesn't matter. His king is just out there on c8. Completely attackable. His time usage is just crushing. 5 seconds per move. Anyway, guys, welcome to my stream here on Twitch. International Master William Paschall. We're winning a piece? No, we're never winning a piece. That would never happen. Would never happen. We do have rook takes f6. We're winning 2 pieces for a rook, though. I'll take it. If I can get it, I'll take it. 2 pieces for a rook sold. That's the best I'm gonna do, and it looks winning with some technique. I could still lose on time. Can I get more? Doesn't look like it. Best we're gonna do. 2 pieces for a rook and good technique. It's probably just winning. I mean, based on the pure power of the 2 pieces. I think his king is actually less safe than mine. b5 is going to be kind of painful if he goes king b8, and it's going to be hard for him to keep lines closed here. I think that's pretty much why he might choose to, say, like, trade queens. Perhaps I should not trade queens. I think we have good attacking chances against his king, so we're gonna maybe avoid trading queens. This variation, though, I was optimistic about b5. However, it's probably a little bit premature to go b5 right away because of takes and my c4 pawn hangs. Though I missed something there, which is not surprising. Missing something. The time is equalizing here. 5 seconds per move. Okay, welcome to the weakness. e7, f6, maybe a4, a5 if I have time. We're just really happy with this bishop on g1. Actually, that's a killer. But he's hanging on, and I don't know that it's an easy win for me yet. Rook f7, knight takes e7, queen e8. What is that, like, win material or not? Apparently not. We just play rook e1. Oh. Blunder. Alright, so analysis board looks like we're winning. We have queen e8, rook e1, queen c7. Do I have something even better? Rook e1 is good. Anyway, I'm curious, was I ever in trouble here? Or were we always better? Really great streams for a long time already, man. Most instructive, many of them. Your explanations literally shifted my chess thinking. Thank you, SDSVR. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, there's a lot of people who play like 1-minute chess, and it's fun to watch them and stuff like that. But as far as actually like learning anything from that, I think it's just like a lot of people like to show off like how cool they can be playing 1-minute chess. But like, if you really want to learn the game, chess was not made to be played with 1 minute or less. You know, 5 minute is fast enough, or like 3 minute is fast enough. If you want to learn, you've got to play longer games. We were always better, I guess, here, although You gave us a very, very tough time on the clock there, Soltigo. Good try. Anyway, guys, we take the subscribers first. So Clash Kid will get the next game if nobody else is a subscriber. And then when we get free of the subscribers, we'll play the rest of the challengers we can fit in before another hour goes by. We're streaming till like 6:30, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Alright, so Clash Kid, we're going to play c4 against him. It sometimes works, sometimes they get the better of me. But the 5-second increment is pretty chunky, you know. The 3-second increment is, you can't really get time in the bank, but with a 5-second increment you can bank time. So basically, I can make moves with like 3 seconds pretty easily and kind of like add 2 seconds to my time bank, so to speak, like every move. When it's 3 seconds, it's hard. I just kind of can keep treading water. And when it's like a 2-second increment, usually that's like where I really have to struggle not to lose on time. But with the 5-second increment, yeah, it's like very comfortable. I can feel like I'm just, you know, able to actually like save up time. Silence. Clash Kid. I don't remember now. Clash Kid and I have played quite a few games. His score is good. 8 points out of 27. What do I feel like playing today? So many different ways to interpret like the English opening. E3. E3, something different, because we played like knight f3, I think, before against Clash Kid, probably. I played it against so many players. E3. If d6, we would transpose to a game I had with, I think, like Iveta Rylich. Iveta. Will, question, do you always play different openings against your opponents? You remembered precisely what openings you played against me. I just remembered Nefedov because we've only played 3 games, and that first game was the Nimzovich defense, which isn't something I play that often. So that game kind of like stuck out in my mind. If I played someone like 30 games, it just doesn't really, I don't really remember. I need some Ginkgo biloba, because in the last couple of years we're slowing down with the memory. There was a time, like maybe 10 years ago, where I could actually like remember almost all of my tournament games, but I think I've turned the corner on that. Now that I'm 39 forever, I think the memory, you know, needs a little bit of improvement. I'll have to sign up for one of those like online memory improvement, you know, programs or whatever. So, okay. He played d6. You know, I think the most annoying move is actually e6. In the case of e6, if I play like d4 and then cd, ed, d5, we might get into one of these positions where it just like simplifies into symmetry. You know, I don't want that to happen. But with d6, it's not really possible. I don't want to see a totally symmetrical position here. We're basically playing like the closed Sicilian with colors reversed. Does that sound right? That doesn't make sense. No. We're just playing the English opening. It's just a symmetrical English. I'm calling it the closed Sicilian. Yeah, his pawn would have to be here, and this would be back there if it was a closed Sicilian. But anyway, I'm a little bit food coma. Okay. So d4 or h3. I guess d4 makes the most sense. Although the prophylactic h3 is something we should probably throw in there at some point. Guys, if you subscribe here on Twitch, we have a special subscriber stream like once a week. I have to announce soon when next week's will be. Actually, I should probably decide now. I guess we'll do that again on Tuesday. We'll keep it on Tuesday for now. We don't have a lot of flexibility because I'm doing sort of regular streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's basically Tuesday or Thursday. So we're going to do the subscriber stream again this week on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the way it is, and you're going to have to like it. Okay, bishop g4. I don't like this move because you don't have a threat, and I need to play h3 anyway. So you're forcing me to make a good move. And I don't like this exchange, bishop takes e2, even though you would make me play knight takes e2. Your bishop is a fairly valuable piece. So, I mean, you could do it, but I don't think it's optimal for black, you know, to trade off the white squared bishop. Having said A, who knows, maybe he could exchange it here, but having played bishop g4, there's an argument for maybe taking on the e2, but you could just as easily play that, yeah. I mean, I have seen computer programs, and Iveta Rilich and her husband Vasek programmed Rybka, and they were working on Rybka at the time when I played this game with Iveta, and this whole idea of playing stuff like bishop f5, bishop d7 to provoke like white to weaken their king side in some lines, I always thought it was just like stupid, but some modern players like Malikov have started to play ideas like bishop f5 in the move 6 of the main line of the symmetrical English. So, and I've even played it myself and played against it. So these ideas of provoking weaknesses are really interesting. But here I think we have gained the free move. I mean, this is just a tempo, and a very valuable tempo. Anatoly Karpov quite content with white's position here. House of Staunton. Your new chess set went missing a rook. Crocus. The dog ate it. Oh my god. Alright, another prophylactic move. I once had these really cool like plastic chess pieces that were from the Museum of Science or something, and the dog literally started to chew one of them once. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal. Just you can see like a couple little like teeth marks in one of them. Could have been a lot worse. I'm not really a collector of chess memorabilia, but I do have a few sets and tons of books, obviously. You always order from Amazon. Good advertisement for Amazon Prime here. You should get like a free month for that, Brundle-Philly. Guys, I promise tonight or tomorrow I'm going to create a video on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Video Chess Training. I'm going to create a video on YouTube detailing and analyzing a couple of the simul games against subscribers, the magic word. Who's going to subscribe today? Do we get a subscription? Where is it? Come on, guys. We've got another hour left. Let's peer pressure someone into subscribing. I'm just happy that Magnus and Carl was here. And I wonder if Magnus and Carl said Magnus and Carl because he's lived in Japan. I don't know if he's still watching or not, but you know, in Hungary, we say people's names. I live in Hungary for most of the year. They say their names, you know, like Paschall William would be my name. I wonder if in Japan it's the same. That's why he said Magnus and Carl. It's so weird, though. Those Icelandic names. Magnus and Carl and Carlson Magnus. They're probably related. Very small pool of names in Iceland and Norway. These Scandinavian names. Man, I'm very tempted to sack the exchange here. D5, pawn takes pawn, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes a1, and I'm just like, no, that's too much. That's really kind of over the top. I mean, I don't think I should do that. We need to make sound moves. But Clash Kid is fighting back here. Maybe I had something tricky like knight b5. Looks a little fishy, you know? I mean, literally fishing with that move. Clash Kid, the question is, do you have d5 there? You know, I think that might be good. You fix the structure. It's like an Alekhine's defense. Instead, he played b6. We wanted to play bishop h6 at some point, maybe. That's a good exchange, I guess. My kind of bad bishop. King h2, anyone? This could actually prevent d5, theoretically. Or could it? Probably not. It's a useful move anyway. Knight f5 is on the way. Uh-oh. And that also secures, yeah, here's where we probably pull the trigger on g4. It's pretty extreme. It's pretty extreme. I mean, do we want to do this really? Is that not too dangerous? Looks a little over the top. I'm saying that a lot today. Try not to say the same word again and again. Yeah, maybe we should just let him play knight f5. I'm not going to play g4. It's so tempting, but very artificial to do that. Bishop h6. Take. Alright, yeah. You're going to trap my bishop on e3 if I don't do this. So Clash Kid defending well. He's got a slightly passive position, but I think that it's... Actually, b6 makes some sense. He now sort of freezes me from the advanced c5. For the first time, I don't have the advanced c5. Maybe my move is a mistake, because if d5 I had c5, he probably didn't like that. Now is the first time when he really can do this with no, you know, there it is, no real downsides. Although I was thinking about knight f5 first. So here we are, possibly like a kind of sort of little bit better endgame for white if I can keep that pawn fixed on the wrong color. I would even consider giving up my bishop on d5 if the position is safe enough. How safe is my king? Pretty safe, but still, I think he's equalized here. Damn it. He's just equalized. Hate it when they do that. Totally equalized. Alright guys, we have a little bit of time advantage, but objectively, we gotta be objective. Don't try to kid yourself. Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5. Sorry, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. That position, the bishop comes to life, and it's a little scary. I'm getting a little bit bad vibes about that bishop coming to life, or f5 coming to life there. But you know, it may not be so simple. Let's try it. Knight against bad bishop. Safer to just like play for a draw here with white, you know, like rook c1 and agree to a mass exchanges. My isolated pawn is not enough to lose the game. Basically, it's a slight weakness, but it should probably be a draw. Dragoon, just get a job where you handle money and do a credit card scam on a customer. Actually, I had that happen last year. Somebody like skimmed my credit card. It was probably at the gas station pump or something like that. It was kind of a hassle. So he decides to take with the pawn here. And is knight e4 a threat? I think you might argue that knight e4 is actually a threat here. Think outside the box and play f3. He can play bishop b5 now. Oh my god. He could do this. I mean, at the very least. The problem is, I guess he's just equal anyway. You know, knight f4, knight e4. And I already don't really like my position. However, this move, I think, bishop b5 was probably much stronger. Bishop f5, not as good. because his knight can, I mean, his pieces can get kicked out, you know, and then it's like, what's he gonna do? Here, for example, King G1. I don't see anything clear for black. After I go back here, I could also go, nah, Queen F4 is not good. I don't know what my plan is really though. To weaken myself with G4. Objectively, this position is equal. But white actually has to be a little more careful, I think, because I moved a lot of pawns in front of my king. I feel like I've been a little optimistic about my chances here. G4. G4 is... There is H4. I kind of like H4 too. That allows knight H5 at G4 again. He wants to do an exchange sacrifice on E2 on me. It looks like it's really nasty, so we're going to kick him out. This is obviously not a good piece, and I'm aware of that, but hopefully it's a temporary thing. Just a temporary thing. He saw my new idea. Alright. So be it. This is objectively equal. Now he's being combative. He's not trading pieces like he's supposed to. But then again, I'm not sure that's necessarily good for him. What's he got? Nothing going on the E file here. He could go bishop b5, and then we can go bishop f1 and trade bishops, and I don't know who's better. I'm kind of thinking like, wow, at the end of the day, I have an outpost square on e5. I can maneuver knight d3, knight e5, stick it in there, and have some kind of advantage. And he doesn't have that ability, thanks to bishop f1 is obviously a move. Anyway, it's a useful move. What's he gonna do? Alright, so he's got time problems. Clash Kid likes to play the simul's I do on Sunday. He likes to have more time. It looks like we're facing a possible defensive idea. Alright, very well. As I was talking, you know, looks like we're outplaying him a little bit. I mean, he's got the bad bishop on e6, probably worse than our bishop on f1. Yeah, he had to go defensive now. We start to have some ideas a little bit. I could have gone to the 7th there. Again, he's being very combative, but is he justified in that? You know, I feel like we actually stand better here. His knight is passive, his bishop is passive. I've got h4 maybe. Hopefully that won't be too weakening. Just I'm maybe threatening bishop e5 now. Yeah, this is a good move. There we go again with this whole knight versus bad bishop thing. You know, Capablanca will draw with black here, most likely. Cheapo. Cheapo is probably not good. There's the huge check on h5. I mean, if he... Am I making a mistake with this? pawns are on like the wrong color here. I feel like I missed something. It's funny that all my pawns are on the wrong color, ironically. But that pawn on d5 is going to get blockaded now. That's not good. He's not going anywhere. Just improve. Put all our pawns in the right color and take things. Yeah. Threatening the penetration with king c6 now. That should be too fast for black. He's gonna get all my pawns. But I think a queen should be too much. Clash Kid, okay man, nice fight though. Nice fight today. You were equal. I mean, I'd be surprised if you weren't a little bit better at some point. Really, dude. Close game. Just crumbled in time pressure. Alright, we've got tons of challengers. I'm going to play Justice of Dictator Yuri Z. And any remaining subscribers, Blue Crow. I promise Yuri Z I'm going to play. Because he's like his first stream and he's been waiting the whole time. Blue Crow is one of our subscribers. What's up, man? Totally inaccurate moves in the end decide the game. That's what I love about bullet chess, right? That's why bullet chess is so vital to the. It's the lifeblood that keeps the world of chess. If you sense a little sarcasm, let's play knight h6 just to be like weird. The Mama Duck. We got a subscription from the Mama Duck. Mama Duck, were you already subscribed or did you just subscribe? Mama Duck, were you a Amazon subscriber and you had already subscribed? Because I forgot. You guys let me know. Yeah, I've been subbed. Okay. I was just hoping somebody would sub today. We're waiting for a new subscriber today. We'll be playing for another 40 minutes. Photon Man, when you're rated as high as me in accurate moves, decide the game in classical. Seriously. I'm done. Well, I was going to get my wife, but now that Blue Crow is playing, she can wait. Okay. Yeah, this is actually probably a good move. I think that knight h3 works better in the Leningrad type of positions. So Blue Crow is smart to set up, you know, a Simon Williams type of thing here. The classical. It's kind of like playing against knight on h6 a little bit. Although it should still be okay for me. It's not really optimal to play knight h6 on move 1. We should probably do that in certain circumstances, like a little further down the line. It's better with white when you play like d4, f5, g3, followed by knight h3 at some point, and you have more flexibility. And extra tempo obviously kind of helps, right? So Blue Crow is. All right, he's doing the stuff that's gonna be disturbing to my coordination. Okay, well, let's see, sir. Let's see. We'll wait and see about this. I mean, I'd like to get my knight in here. Maybe to d6. There's also the question of how far I want to advance the c pawn, because sometimes c6 is better than like c5. This move I was actually kind of hoping to see, although I don't know if it's really justified. I was actually thinking you might even be able to play queen e2 here. Queen e2 in honor of our bird-loving other moderator, Jeroen. I don't know if Jeroen's watching the stream. I didn't see him. He was playing in a simul earlier. Okay, so knight f5, e4. Maybe I play c6. I'll kind of chill out here. This is not as like, doesn't, how to explain, I'm not really finding the words today. This doesn't commit me to so much like territory, and it's like less weakening than c5. It's obviously restricting me from going knight to c6, but it's a typical move. One of my favorite tricks, playing against b2. This is probably theory with colors reversed. The extra tempo, I'm sure, like significantly helping his chances. iZombie says, just have to remember to think about what opponent is going to do before every move. Well, dude, that's part of my style of play. I try to be like pretty prophylactic, and I'm always thinking about what the opponent's trying to do. I think most strong players do that. You get a few maniacal attackers amongst the strongest players who, you know, who don't think that much about what their opponent is doing. I mean, they're mostly focused on just their attack, winning, you know, by direct force. But for the most part, I mean, strong masters tend to be very prophylactic. But it's a matter of style, you know, balancing these things. Knight e5 is a really strange move. I think that's a big mistake for several reasons. I mean, I could certainly just play like knight d7, and what has he achieved? You know, he just traded off like my worst piece on b8 probably. Also, I like f6, kicking his knight out, taking the e5 square, and giving me a rat-like formation with knight f7. So I think I'm going to go with that. The knight d7 is good, but I'm concerned about my knight on h6 here not getting back in the game properly. It's a matter. It's a call that's tough to make, but I would never ever in a million years like give up my dark squared bishop for a knight. This is a vital piece defensively and offensively. It's a little bit blocked now. We can live with that. I'm a King's Indian player. I'm used to having like pawns in front of my bishop on g7. It's no problem. Let's go ahead and play e5. Just a weird position. We've got a stronger center though, you know. It feels like chess 960 suddenly. Kind of random. But black is not worse. I'm confident about that. I'm not sure that white is worse either, unfortunately. If he takes here and plays this position correctly, the position is probably equal. Maybe I should have bided my time and not rushed with this so quickly. Doesn't really make a difference. Perhaps the same thing would occur. Anyway, for those of you who don't watch my stream regularly, I have a kind of phobia of symmetrical positions. I like to play dynamically, and I don't really like symmetrical pawn structures. So I try to avoid them, but they keep biting me in the butt and coming back every day. Why is the dark square bishop better? Better than the knight? Is that what you mean? It's a long term. It's a valuable piece long term. It's protecting. I'm going to castle over here, and this piece is going to protect the dark square complex all around my king in the future. Shall we play castles, or shall we? Yeah, let's play castles and keep our powder dry. Are any of you guys old enough to have heard that? I was raised by an old school father who he used like sayings from the last century. Keep your powder dry. It's some kind of Revolutionary War era saying. All right. Bang. Queen b6 check. We've got the dark squares. That's why I wanted to keep the knight on h6. That's why I didn't play knight f7. I thought maybe there's a chance he'll let me do this. And it happened. So we got queen b6 check, knight g4, and we're in on f2 and e3. So we play knight g4, he plays queen e1, and then we've got a way to lose the game by force. Wonderful. It doesn't work. So it's all just a big, stupid blunder for me. Oh no, we actually screwed up. This is very bad. Knight g4, bishop c4 check, king h8, and I'm a little bit worried that I could be worse. Knight g4, I didn't see bishop c4 check. I'm such an idiot. Knight g4, queen e1, knight e3, bishop takes, bishop c4 check, winning a rook, obviously. Queen, whatever. It's a queen. So I should have played knight f7 after all. Now I'm worse. Now I actually have to defend, and this was a huge mistake. Just a massive mistake. If I brought my knight back to f7, everything would have been alright. Now I actually have to be careful that ooh, he's looking for this. That wasn't my biggest concern here. I was more concerned about other stuff, but very well. We still have issues. Should I even play bishop g4? g4? What am I talking about? e6. I don't know. There's nothing with g4. I'm still on knight g4, and what a stupid move it was. Playing for this cheapo here. Wasted massive amounts of time. Put my queen on b6 for no reason. I think that Plucro could have played bishop c4 there with an edge. I don't know why. You know, b3 is not a bad move either, honestly. Mama Duck says, I just use dry powder. Sounds dumb to you. Yeah. Powder gets wet when the king is out. You're talking about like explosive gunpowder, right? It's probably like some sort of 150-year-old saying, 250-year-old saying that comes from the Revolutionary War or something. But anyway, gunpowder must stay dry. And my gunpowder did not stay dry. It was totally defective to this idiotic move I made. Yeah. Alright, now this is the other problem. I mean, it would be nice to play b5, but my queen is in the way. Thank you, queen, for being in the way. And therefore we've got some technical problems. Queen c7, queen d8. Oh man, this is the best I can do. Probably just retreat in embarrassment and hope that I can be equal here. Bishop c4, and then here we've got just trading, I guess. Rook e8 maybe. Then I can lose the exchange to like this. Rook a e8, bishop a3. That's not good. Rook f e8. Just asking for trouble along the f file. We're suffering. We've got a bad pawn. I talked about this earlier. He played this like it's a... Plucro is playing like it's the, I don't know, exchange Roy Lopez or something. Anyway, we should be alright. We should be alright here. We're a little bit worse, but b5 takes away the key outpost. Not really a great, not a great open file for my rooks there. c4. Just keep the tension. Please don't allow any tactics, me. I've got a backwards C file, but I didn't want to give him the D line. Where's he going? Strong point. Damn, dude. You're officially starting to piss me off, Plucro. I have no idea what I'm doing here. He's so stinking fast. What? Hopefully he just hung all of his pieces. Dude, I have that defended 800 times. This he captured on e5. Yes. Of course. It's the epicenter of my position. That is insane. Nice. Oh my god. Alright, so he's just better, man. It's a good game. better here. The epicenter. You tried to attack the epicenter. The computer doesn't think he's better. Alright. I'm always pessimistic. I managed to get my bad bishop outside the pawn chain. Why not like g3? I mean, just kick that bishop. Apparently I have something. Like, what do I have? These pieces stacked up behind my own e-pawn. The A file. Ah, that's the idea. So apparently I have the A file. I didn't know about that. I was unaware that I had the initiative here. Anyway. Fun game, Plucro. I was lucky. Alright, so any other subscribers? We're out of subscriber challenges. We're going to play Justice of Dictator. And Yuri, who's been waiting for a long time to play this game. Oh man, he was starting to piss me off. Playing too well. I don't like it when my opponents play so well. Let's play b3. This is not an opening I play a lot, but sometimes for fun. I just can't remember the last guy I played this against. It's some German IM who's probably a GM now. Oh, he had a name that sounded like Brandenburg Gate, but it wasn't Brandenburg. But it was something similar. Because he was German and his name reminded me of Brandenburg Gate. You can guess it. I'll give you $1. Bishop b2, c5. Okay, this is going to transpose to like a Queen's Indian or English attack type position. The good old English attack. Nothing else to do here, really. Or the Nimzo, but it can't really be a Nimzo because I haven't played knight f3. It's an accelerated Nimzo. The subs are here to be systematically slaughtered. Don't do too well again. Yeah, I pay them here. You know, they don't even really pay a subscription. I just like pay them off to like come here and look, you know, make me look good. The strong players, see, the strongest players, they're too arrogant to subscribe. That's the problem that we're running into, I think. Bishop d7, okay. The ultra passive. No, it's a fine move. Understandable. Actually, I have a student who played a similar game recently. But I have a question for you, Justice of Dictator. Do you play d4 with white? Because that's what you're doing, in effect. I have a lot of lessons with people who, like, you know, they don't know how to react to moves like 1b3. And then, you know, they'll be like an e4 player and play this. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, man, because you're not a d4 player. This opening is just a d4 opening with colors reversed. So you have to be a d4 player to play this type, or you should be a d4 player, I should say, to play this. I have water in my ear from swimming today. I always like that feeling. It's so pleasant. The old water in the ear. My camera seems like it's frozen or something. Is it just something wrong with my... We have a frozen camera, guys? No. Alright. Something weird with my view. So 95. There is the saying, the threat is stronger than the execution. I'm just thinking, does that apply to this position? If I don't play 95, it seems like black's going to play f6. You know, you could go with something weird, I guess. Nimzovichian. Did you see Minecraft? Oh, did you see my screensaver? Oh, you saw my desktop? Yeah, there's Minecraft on the desktop. There's a lot of stuff on there. A lot of it's not mine, though. My kids' stuff, various games. Some of it's mine. I've played Minecraft. I've been known to play Minecraft. I'm not a big Minecraft player, but I do occasionally play with the kids. Time for a variety stream. Yeah, I have. Well, I thought about streaming poker because I played poker full time for like 7 years, but there's a lot of poker streamers. I'm not doing it, and I'm not playing poker these days, so I would feel really weird doing a poker stream. You know, I think in my peak, I probably could have done a poker stream, but I'm just kind of out of poker now, so focusing on one thing works better for me. 95. Yeah, we could stream some random video games. The checkers stream. I used to have a joke, you know, with people like professional Monopoly. You get to like some really naive people to believe that like professional Monopoly actually exists, and that you're a professional Monopoly player. I've seen it get believed, you know, this story. Do like a Monopoly theory stream. This stuff probably exists. And I'm just like joking about it. Like, I'll get an email tomorrow from the world champion of Monopoly. Anyway, it might exist. Yeah, I don't see why not. It's not a skill game. It's not legal to play in the US. They can arrest you for playing Monopoly for money. Well, I'm not opposed to taking Mr. Bishop there and doubling the pawns. I mean, some people might be of a different Nimzovich is a big fan of mine. I'm just being dyslexic on purpose. I'm a big fan of Nimzovich. I mean, I don't mind doubling those pawns there. This is just a classic, this position. Take it to the... Speaking of Monopoly, take it to the bank. You could take this structure to the bank in most cases. Justice of Dictator seems like he's not joking around anymore. We're going to go full Nimzovich and play this like a reversed Nimzovich-Rubinstein game. Actually, not reversed. That's... Yeah, it was, I guess, the famous game that Nimzovich won against Rubinstein. He was black in the Nimzo, this type of structure. Queen G4 was mentioned. It feels like I don't like to do moves like that with this time control. But definitely, like, if I had more time, we could start considering outside the box type of moves. Like Queen G4, definitely. His pieces could be set up for the pawn fork. I've got Pawn Power in Chess sitting a few meters away. Great book. So we got the classic position now. The pawn fork. The fork trick. Goes by other names. The most common way to win a piece in amateur chess. Actually, that's probably not true. The most common way to win a piece usually was like when I played beginners, and they would, with white in the Sicilian, they would always like let me win their knight on c3 by playing like Queen a5 and d5, d4, something like that. Some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, knight d7 is a good move, avoiding fork tricks. And now, I guess we go with e4. Justice of Dictator, I've only played one game against. I don't know them too well. Guys, I guarantee that I'm playing Yuri. He was like one of the first challengers, basically. Somehow, it felt like it, not one of the first. One of the first 5. At least one more game. A lot of people study psychology in college because they've already have an intuitive sense for it. A lot of people study psychology in college because they were about to get kicked out, you know, when they were studying economics and flunking out of courses because they were playing chess too much. Psychology is a very good major to fall back on when you're about to get kicked out. In my experience, anyway. E4. We've whoa, baby. That's another story. I like that move. I like this move. I'm happy about this. All right. It looks like we're going forward. This could be a long closed position, but somebody dial Herr Hubner and tell him we've got a position for him. F5, locking it up, and now he's got the bad bishop. Maybe he can get away with this somehow. It's going to take some doing, though. Very, very dangerous move. White has a spatial advantage with F5. I think black better be careful here. There's some logic to it, perhaps. I don't want to give away any great ideas for black here, though. I could see maybe one point to it. Rook b8 looks a little slow. Obviously c4 is an idea. I just don't see how he's going to get that in this position. Meanwhile, your attacking plans like queen g4, what we talked about earlier, are kind of close to materializing. I'm not in love with knight b6, to be honest. Queen f3. I feel like I need to reorganize everything. F6 would be great. What do I want to do? I want to stop c4 and create my own attacking chances on the king's side. But he's kind of threatening this. Is he or not? No, not yet. a5, a4 could be a threat. But this looks good for white. It really does. Just I don't necessarily want to go to this extreme of playing c4. It's very committal. He'll have like a5, a4. Then I have to play like a4. And then it gets like I'm tied down to these weak pawns of my own and stuff. It's a pretty awkward like struggle after that. Probably not bad for white though. I probably have good chances even there. You could do it. Let's try to find something where we can combine kingside, queenside type of play. How about queen e2? Kind of just a in-between move. Compromise, you know, keeping the c4. It's a little slow though. It doesn't really threaten anything. Feels kind of defensive, doesn't it? Some indirect pressure on e5. It holds up like knight b6, c4 even. I want to play king h1. We can prepare, we have all the time in the world to prepare our assault on black's king. Thanks to f5. Okay guys, we'll be back on Sunday with a simul stream, 5 p.m. Eastern time, against 25 players here on lichess. Everyone's welcome to play. Subscribers have first come, first serve. But I'm gonna put up a YouTube video on video chess training where I go over some of our subscriber simul games from last week, and then otherwise, like the next stream will be Monday. We're gonna do a subscriber stream on Tuesday next week, like we did this week. And what other news? Blue Pro, do you have any other news for us? You put for white, that confused me. A4. I'm afraid like you leave me very little choice here. I mean, I guess I could let you play A4. You could let me, I mean, I could let you play A4, but I don't really want to do that in this position. So we're fixing the A pawn on A5. And, you know, there are things like there. I can play king H1. He's not really getting in C4. He can play knight B6. Even with knight B6, he's not getting in C4. He has to actually watch out for stuff like bishop C3, just picking off his pawn. He obviously doesn't want to play D4 because then I have the ultimate outpost. I was almost going to play queen F3, honestly, in this position. This was my first idea. But the problem was that he goes there anyway. You know, but maybe if I had thought it through a little bit further, I would have found some follow-up for white, like king h1 followed by bishop c3 and bishop a5 would be thematic. A thematic way of controlling. Thematic way of controlling d5. Bishop c3, bishop a5. Okay, now he's wasted time. We could actually transpose to that. Screw it. I've got this idea. Yeah, Nefedov is getting... Nefedov, I thought it was Nefedov for a second. Just as a dictator is getting in time pressure, so... He's maybe getting a little desperate here. I don't see any problem with rook d1. And he's getting in trouble because of this, which is a move that I want to play anyway. We don't block our rook off on the queen side. We have serious threats. And now he's got a threat or two. He's also protecting this. This is a really cagey defense. H3. This is annoying, sir. Knight g4. If h3, knight h5, g4. It looks like that's the best I'm gonna do. I'm not thrilled about it, I will admit, but I think that, you know, at the end of the day, something's gonna give here. I don't have a good square for I don't have a good square for my knight. That's the stupid thing about this position. Justice of Dictator defending like a genius. He's actually put me in a kind of awkward spot now. But I don't see his next move as something that he can do that would hurt me. But I really misplayed this. I managed to totally screw this up. Queen g5 was a pretty unexpected kind of plan. Oh, man, where do I go? I need a square for my knight. I need the square for my knight, then I should just put it on f3. Okay. I guess I have to play this. That's a blunder or not? Queen g3, take, queen knight e2, king f3. He's got all sorts of nasty squares. That's a blunder. Okay. Good. This is sort of weird. Okay. Next option. Almost like a Zugzwang kind of thing going on here. It's really weird. Rook g1. Knight f1. That was a really amazing defensive task Black has pulled off here. So he's even seen g5 and stopped that. Knight f1 was my idea? I don't even remember what my idea was. Why? Oh yeah, just to play g5. Wow, what a defender. That's crazy. g5. Knight f1. I kind of hate this move. I don't know what else to do though. Alright. We're just going to go technical mode. I'll just never accept a draw here. Yeah, it's kind of panic mode. I could sack the exchange and be clearly better. It's kind of a pity to win the pawn like this. Are you telling me there's no way for me to get through? Alright, we'll see. Now he's actually got that. Man, what a good defender. Damn, dude, 1784. Crazy good defender. We're both good defenders. Man, that's an annoying move. Still not enough. Alright, that's it, man. We're gonna play one more game. This is Stalemate Junction. Stalemateville. He's got the stalemate. Seriously. Alright. I'm actually lucky he didn't take on h3. That would have been a much better attempt. He's got the time thing going on. Ooh, man. 4 connected pass pawns. Oh my God. I'm actually losing. What's the deal with this guy? Alright. You win, man. I managed to win, like, I managed to lose the most winning position in the world. Was it rated? It wasn't rated, thankfully. Justice of Dictator. Damn, dude. Got some serious play there. Just flagged me. With 2 outside pawns. Amazing. Norwegian pawn says black is cheating. He said, I didn't cheat, I swear. I don't think so. I mean, I just played like an idiot. What can I do? Alright, last game is Yuri. So, well, I don't think he cheated, but I do think that he played amazingly, you know, for his rating. But, I mean, he had a totally lost position, so it's hard to accuse him of cheating. Although his speed and his defensive skill was extraordinary. Yuri Z, he's patiently waited throughout the stream to play. This is going to be the last game, guys. We're going to be like, yeah, but, I mean, Phil, you know, I'm not, honestly, dude, I was totally winning, and I have to say I played like an idiot. I mean, if he beat me fair and square at the end, it would be like, I would say hand him my hat, you know, but I was up like 4 connected pass pawns and lost. I mean, that's disgraceful, you know. I can't sleep with myself at night when I lose games like that, you know. If I lost, like, got outplayed, I would give him all the credit in the world, but I mean, I just, like, I can't accept that kind of performance from myself. I tell it like it is. I played like an idiot, you know. I really, really did. I mean, there's no other way to put it, you know. It was a very bad example of endgame technique. You know, I can't sit here and feel good about the way I played. That was a disaster, you know. there is no way in the world I should have let black get away there. That is inexcusable. I mean, that's not just me like not giving the guy credit, man. I mean, he should have lost. That was a really bad technique by me. That's the way it is. If he played brilliantly, I would give him all the credit in the world, but it was, even if he was stubborn, and he deserves credit for being stubborn, but I can't live with myself for the way I played the end there. The problem with understanding cheats is that people always think cheaters cheat for the entire game. Oh yeah, you never know, dude. I mean, sure, you can never know. I mean, but this is not an issue here. This is just an issue of my failure to demonstrate like acceptable technique in a totally winning position. Although that plank for stalemate, I mean, it was pretty amazing. He was coming up with like every trick you could basically think of under the sun to save the game. Queen takes b7. I guess I should just take this pawn. It feels a little bit materialistic, but I think I have this. We might have this. Nah. Queen takes and then rook c8. I think that's bad. So development should be the order of the day here. e3 or, you know, queen maybe a6, queen a4, run away. I don't like taking pawns like hit and run guerrilla warfare style like this in general, but it just feels like black black doesn't have enough for this pawn, and I feel like it's my duty to punish him by grabbing the pawn. In this case, however, things could get weird. I have bishop b5 on the threat here. It was +6. Yeah, I mean, I was massively winning. It's a disgrace. I would kill one of my students if they didn't win that position. You know, I mean, I guess I'm just a little bit tired or whatever. I have to make excuses, but 99 out of 100 times I would win that endgame. But I was like kind of not believing that 4 connected passed pawns is not enough. My sense of danger tuned out. a6, a very tricky move by Yuri. It's stopping both bishop b5 and maybe threatening some lines where he'll like trap my queen. I think we're gonna bail out of here, go back and just consolidate our extra pawn. It's not very exciting. I'm not interested in grabbing more material with like bishop takes a6. That's okay for a computer, but you know, maybe it was good. It develops a piece, right? But for me, my style, I'm not interested. I've got to try to play like a human being. I'm a human being, not a computer. So don't suicide, please. No, but I mean, you know, I'm driven to play the best. I want to play my best, and I'm angry when I lose a stupid game. I played a pretty good game. He defended really well, and then I was disappointed. Brundle Philly's he's always surprised to see me like angry, but you know, that's it has to mean a lot, you know, because if it doesn't mean a lot, I'm not, again, I've said this before last time, like in my Sima when I got kind of angry. If you know, if you're a Vishy Anand and you're so talented that you never even have to like sweat, then I guess you never have to get angry over a game. But for most people, emotions, you know, kind of are part of the game, and I think it helps us to force ourselves to do better. But you have to control it, you know, not to throw a tantrum after you lose. I've seen grown men like cry over the board. I mean, only once or twice in my life, in thousands of games, did I ever, you know, get like really visibly hysterical after a game. Once I was so angry because I was like up a rook and lost. I started to get hysterical. but for the most part I've kept it under control. Oh, Anand gets angry, alright. Post-match press conference of Game 10, that was hilarious. Maybe he's losing it. Yuri Z has a little bit of compensation for the sacrificed pawn here. And I'm not really thrilled about it. What if I were to play like bishop d3? Then even knight e4 is kind of tough. It seems like he has good compensation. Do I play like knight a4 and try to blockade? I'm a little worried about this. Like, how much compensation does he really have here? Like, more than enough? It's starting to feel that way. All of his pieces are coordinated. Now, I don't know about this move. I mean, maybe he should put the queen on a more natural square. It seems like here I'm having trouble finding... Actually, I'm having trouble finding a place for my queen, as it turns out. Rook c1. Bishop c2 could be played. Holy crap. There we could do an exchange sacrifice, which looks like a really long winded game. Rook c1, bishop c2, rook takes c2, queen takes c2, bishop takes a6, queen takes d1, rook takes d1 with compensation. 2 pawns for an exchange. Doesn't seem like the optimal way of like winning a game, does it? We're gonna go with this move. I actually don't mind having a square for my queen for a change. I could have thought about playing this earlier. I hope he doesn't have a queen sacrifice that I'm not looking for. Anyway, guys, we'll be back on Sunday. Game 6, when Nemtsova asked, do you try to calculate all the complications? I was wondering about what to have for dinner tonight. Anand, I like to use him as an example for someone who's so talented that they basically don't need to ever like even involve emotions. I'm not saying he's emotionless. I'm just saying like some people like they use their emotions as a strength. You know, I think Kasparov like and Fischer kind of like hated. They had to hate their opponents to make themselves almost stronger, more powerful in a way. Whereas, you know, Anand would never have to do that. He's just like falling. It's out of falling out of bed. You know, like beating 2600s for him. He just doesn't have to work as hard. Most people. Bishop d to e4. Well, I was actually concerned about bishop g4. If you guys want to know the truth, I thought that was a kind of combative try. This is not a bad move by black as well, but it doesn't seem as dangerous somehow. I want to simplify, but I don't want to like jeopardize my position. Knight e5, knight takes e5, d takes e5, knight d7. You know, is that giving away too much? Will my pawn in e5 become too great a weakness? Is it worth the risk, is what I'm trying to say. Should I just make a normal developing move here? Why not just make a normal developing move instead of this crazy knight e5? Patience. He's forced to make the best move, but I can just trade pieces. I'm hoping to trade pieces into a winning endgame when eventually 70 moves from now I'll win. But he decided to trade. I thought a5 was like a no-brainer, but this is okay too. He could have played that last move, obviously, but he decided not to, so he's changed his mind. Queen 7th, no problem. We'll just trade and take over the c-file, trade all the rooks, and hopefully win this endgame with like 2 against 1 on the queen side. Minor piece endgames are a good place to be when you have an extra pawn. Not rook endgames and queen endgames. It's not ideal. So here we are. Luckily our bishop is protected, and we're fast enough here. We can just liquidate. Hopefully liquidate everything, trade everything, and you know, reach this minor piece endgame where we're just a pawn up. Yuri really should be playing, he should be trying to play, I think, a heavy piece ending with the rooks or queens, like I lost last game. The drawing chances there based on stalemate. I mean, look at that example, you know. So anyway, Eric Hansen threw a chair and hurled expletives upon losing to Nakamura. Hurling chairs is possible. This is usually something I would probably do only under the influence of heavy amounts of alcohol. I think under normal circumstances I would refrain from chair throwing. Verbal tirades I've been known to embark on. I told Huang Thang Trung that she doesn't know how to resign. She should learn how to resign. That's one of my famous tirades. Wasn't very polite of me. And Yuri, I'm going to give you the take back of the day. We do one take back every stream. He's trying to give me a piece here. I refuse to accept your piece. We will do one take back every stream, so he should not give me an extra piece. If you had knight c3, sir, your position would be pretty good. But you do not have that ability. Once I told Stephen Weiner, if we're going to brag about like angry tirades, I told him I'd rather die than have a draw against him. I remember the look on his father's face when I said that. This was like after like the third time he offered me a draw consecutively. I mean, in a period of 30 minutes, he offered a draw 3 times. And I finally like got fed up with it, and I just said, look, I'd rather die than have a draw with you. That was funny. And I won. I actually won. It was a drawn position, but I managed to like will the win. And so it paid off in the end. Bishop here. It's a brutal diagonal, isn't it? Just keeping him off of his favorite square there. So I'm thinking of the craziest things I've ever done at the chessboard. Never hurled any chairs though in front of his dad. It wasn't my fault that his dad was there. I mean, but it was just like, it was the third time. I was hysterical. And you know, he never held it against me though. I mean, Steve, he's a weird guy, but he's nice. He just took it in stride. I wonder if this was a mistake to play h3 here, because now when I play f3, he's gonna have that whole, I don't know what else I would do though. Basically, I don't think I really have a choice. g4 is interesting, but it feels like I'm going the wrong way there if I play g4. Guys, this is a very technical ending. I mean, I was talking as if like it was an easy win for white, but I think that's pretty far from the truth in reality. But it's not like a rook and pawn endgame. I mean, there isn't a lot of room for mistakes, and Zugzwang is usually fatal. Knight endgames, a pawn up is usually game over in most cases, not like rook endgames. So now if he goes here, doesn't really threaten anything. He doesn't really threaten anything. He may still make that move, but it doesn't bother me. He didn't pay attention to my move. No more takebacks. Yuri was getting in time pressure though. I think he started to move too fast. So we gave him a take back already. He looks like a good player if he just had a little bit more time. I think he just needs to be relaxed and have a little bit more time. He's actually from Russia, and you guys know the time over there is like, we played our new subscriber Fran Franco 2000, one of our newest subscribers, the other day, and he was like, it's 3:30 in the morning. So it's probably like 3:30 in the morning where Yuri's at. Throwing chairs, that's a good idea though. I know some people who would have liked to throw chairs at Nakamura though. He's improved since he was a little kid. I haven't talked to him in years. Knight b5. All right, Yuri. Let's see what happened here. Like when you dropped that knight at the end, how much disadvantage did you have realistically here? Plus 1.6. So probably a winning position, but white needs to have really good technique. But I don't think that Yuri should trade the rooks and queens. You know, that's the real fundamental mistake in that kind of pawn down position. Okay, guys, it was fun. I enjoyed losing that one game. That kept me, you know, gets the blood pumping and the emotions start to motivate me a little bit. I feel more motivated after that one. Anyway, thank you for joining me for my stream. We'll be back on Sunday with a simul stream. Next week, Tuesday, is a subscriber stream. Blue Crow, we will talk to you later, man. And if you have any ideas for the stream, just let me know. You guys can contact me, videochesstrainer@gmail.com. I also would appreciate donations via PayPal. You can always do that through my YouTube channel or through here, the link on PayPal. You can support the stream also by donating there, or also obviously subscribing to the stream. So for $4.99 a month, it's not bad. Subscribers get priority here. All right, guys, I'm a little bit out of the zone here. We will take it easy until Sunday. Take a day off, get relaxed, and see you guys then. Also, we will upload a YouTube video detailing and analyzing a couple of games of our subscribers on the last Sunday's simul stream. Again, thanks everybody. So we'll see you next time. Bye bye.